Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of the Islamic Defense Podcast. First of all, I would like to apologize because I actually wanted to do this video live, but unfortunately, I have some family members at home and there's some family stuff that I needed to take care of. So, again, I apologize for that. But with that out of the way, again, welcome. Thank you guys for tuning in. So, today we're discussing a Korean YouTuber named Rasheed Oh. So in case you guys don't know, Rasheed Oh is a very famous YouTuber who reverted to Islam a few years back. And then recently he made a video where he announced that he has left Islam. Yeah, let's discuss what are some of the things that he said, and let's take a look.
Okay, hello today. So I'm gonna talk about the reason that I left Islam. This is just my personal opinion and this is my experiences. So I hope you can understand me. After a YouTuber incident happened, I just really shocked because I didn't know that every crime, every commitment can be justified after became Muslim.
Now, this is a very interesting claim that he makes. He basically says that Islam somehow justifies crime. Now, I don't know what he's talking about, but I'm going to go on a limb and say that he's talking about Daud Kim. So let's talk about Daud Kim. Now, in case you guys don't know, Daud Kim is another Korean YouTuber who became a Muslim a few years back. And he became very popular. I mean, very popular. And basically, he became very, very famous. But recently, I think a few months back, there were some controversies that came out about him. So 2 years ago, essentially, a girl accused him of basically, he was accused of sexual assault. Now, the thing is that back then, this happened 2 years ago, and this happened when he was not a Muslim. But he still apologized, and he made multiple apologies, and he reconciled with the victim, which is what you should have done, and he did that. So I think Rasheed O is actually talking about Daud Kim for this reason. However, here's the thing, and this is probably the biggest problem. He was drunk. Let me give you guys an analogy. Imagine a girl goes to a party, a non-Muslim girl. She goes to a party and she meets a stranger, and that stranger gets her really drunk. And then when she wakes up, she doesn't remember what happened to her last night. And when she wakes up, she realizes that she is in bed with this stranger, and the stranger tells her that they had sex. Then she sues the stranger, rightfully so, and says that she was raped. Why? Because she was drunk and she couldn't give her consent. So the logic here is that because she lost her senses as a drunk person, she didn't give her consent, therefore it was rape. Now, in Western countries, most Western countries, I think, would consider this a rape. Then I have a question. If this is rape, then why is it that when a drunk person does something bad, like an assault or robbery or whatever, then they're blamed the same way as a sober person is? That doesn't make any sense to me. Now, I know that drinking is not something that should absolve you of the crime, but you have to keep in mind, when a person drinks, they lose their senses, okay? They're not themselves. The more you drink, the more you lose your senses, and when you lose your senses, or your senses get suppressed, you almost become a completely different person. So I think it's unfair for people to blame anyone, not forget Daud Kim, anyone, to blame them when they do something stupid, when they don't have their senses. It's not fair. So, and this is not the also another thing is that Daud Kim is not the first person who has done this. In Korea, and specifically in Korea, being drunk and then assaulting your partner is very common, very common. There's one research which showed that nearly 25% of the cases where a partner assaults either sexually or violently their uh, their uh, their partner, basically majority of those cases, almost 25% of them, are the first time that this happened is when the partner is drunk. And this is serious. Now, this study was done from 2005 to 2015, I believe. And the second time then that a person gets sexually assaulted, almost 80%, or I could be wrong here, almost like 70% or something like that of the cases, again, this happens because they're drunk. So we're seeing a pattern here. And that pattern is majority of the cases where sexual assault takes place, it happens because the people are drunk. So why is it that everyone is blaming Daud Kim? Is not a single Muslim YouTuber have said anything about drinking. How's this fair? Okay, you ask yourself. They're blaming Daud Kim, but they're not blaming the secular culture in Korea of drinking, clubbing, or doing stupid stuff. See, Daud Kim is not the problem. The problem is your secular culture that is allowing people to drink. Okay, this is why in Islam, drinking alcohol is forbidden. And brother Rasheed Oh, you need to understand something. You cannot blame a drunk person for doing something stupid. A drunk person will do something stupid. Okay, that's how drunk people work. Because they don't go by logic. Okay, and you cannot blame Daud Kim for doing something stupid. And this is another thing that he has an issue with, which is that in Islam, if someone commits a crime in the past, once they become Muslim, those crimes are removed, or those sins are forgiven. Now, here Rashido is again being unfair. Why? Because you cannot blame someone in the past when they didn't have the information that you do now. Okay? Let me explain. Rashid O in 2 years ago was not a Muslim. So as a non-Muslim, how on earth would he know that drinking alcohol is a bad thing? I mean, in Korean culture, alcohol is drinking alcohol is a normal thing. Clubbing is a normal thing. So why would you blame him for doing that? It doesn't make any sense. That's not to say that Daud Kim is some angel. He's not. But you have to understand, we have to be fair, okay? And and we're people who is fair. In Islam, we believe in justice. We believe in fairness. And you're not being fair to Daud Kim. And as a matter of fact, not just Daud Kim, even if it was a non-Muslim, I'll still say the same thing. And 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 I think this is what he's talking about when he says that Islam allows crime, but Islam does not allow crime, because if he did this as a Muslim, of course he would come under the headings of Sharia law. Then he would be punished with capital punishment, which is death. Since he apologized, I think you should find it in your heart to forgive him, or at least try to forgive him.
And I didn't know that it was wrong thing, which is I revealed the truth about my brother. So in Islam, revealing bad truth about brother is very big sin, I guess.
Revealing private sin. This is another thing that you talked about. Why is revealing someone's private sin a bad thing? First of all, Daud Kim's sin were not private. Like if he was a Muslim, he would be punished. Okay? Because he went to the club publicly. He didn't hide it. So if he was a Muslim, he would be punished for that. But again, he was not a Muslim. And in Korean culture, as far as I know, drinking is allowed. So why aren't you criticizing the Korean culture? Why are you criticizing Daud Kim? That doesn't make any sense.
And I could see so many children who is suffering in the family. Some of parents forced to believe Islam to child, and if they don't believe, that the parents try to attack, try to harm your children. This is not good.
He said that apparently Islam allows forced conversion, which is absurd. Which is absurd. Okay, there's nothing in Islam. There's no compulsion in Islam. In the Quran, chapter 2, verse number 256, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that there is no compulsion in religion. I mean, did you not read the Quran? How do you not come across this verse? Now, before I end the video, I want to say something to Brother Rasheed Oh. Brother Rasheed, I think you're making a mistake by leaving Islam, and I'll tell you why. Islam is the truth, and I'm going to prove it to you right now. In the Quran, there's a verse in Surah Al-Rum. In that verse, there's a prophecy, and in that prophecy, these verses were revealed at a time when the Roman Empire and the Persian Empire were fighting, and the Persian Empire won battles after battles. The Romans were pretty much almost defeated. Now, the Muslims back then had a very special attachment to the Romans because they were kind of like monotheist. And so the pagans, who were the enemies of Muslims, who were also fighting the Muslims, were very happy at this news because the fire worshippers were winning against the monotheist. And the Muslims were upset. At this, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala revealed these two verses where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said that yes, the Romans have been defeated, but in a few years they will again be victorious, and Muslims will rejoice in that day.
غُلِبَتِ الرُّومُ فِي أَدْنَى الْأَرْضِ وَهُمْ مِنْ بَعْدِ غَلَبِهِمْ سَيَغْلِبُونَ في بضع سنين لله الأمر من قبل ومن بعد ويومئذ يفرح المؤمنون.
Now there are two prophecies here. One, in a few years, the Romans will be victorious, and the second is that Muslims will also be rejoicing on that day. Now both of these prophecies have come true, because in a few years, the Romans have indeed become victorious over the Persians. They won their first battle, I think, and it was a major victory. And then on top of that, the Muslims also won a victory in the Battle of Badr. So both of these prophecies came true. So this shows that the Quran must have come from someone who knows the future. The only one who can know the future is God, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So it becomes quite obvious that the Quran is not written by, it's not some man-made book. This is a divine book, and this proves that the Quran is the word of God, and Prophet Muhammad is the last prophet of God. And there are many prophecies from Prophet Muhammad that have come true. All of this shows, and I'll post a link of a Yaqeen Institute article that shows all the proofs as to why Islam is the truth and why Prophet Muhammad is the prophet of God. So definitely go and check that out, Brother Rasheed. And all of this will prove to you clear cut that Islam is the truth. It is the true religion. It comes from God. There's no doubt about it. Islam is the truth. It's the haqq. Okay. Now, it doesn't matter whether there is some ruling in Islam that you don't like. It doesn't matter because it's the truth. Okay. It's like me not liking gravity. Okay, it doesn't make any sense. It doesn't matter whether you don't like gravity. It's still the truth. You still have to follow it. You still have to believe in it. Do you understand? So by leaving Islam, you're actually rejecting rationality, which is why I invite you back to Islam, because I genuinely believe if you leave Islam, you're making a big mistake, and you should come back to Islam, because if you don't, then there's a heavy punishment that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will give you, and this is a punishment that you don't want to face, and that punishment is a eternity of torture and in the hellfire. Come back to Islam, and this is a sincere message to you. And yeah, that's it, and I want to end the video. I thank you guys for joining. Jazakallah khairan. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.